Hi everyone, it's Kate and we're going to do some Homestuck panel repainting, which is a great way to get into digital painting and a good fun thing to do. So today we're going to be doing this picture of Friendleader John, which is a good one to start with. I'll show you some examples of ones I've done in the past. This is one of Roxy that I did earlier on a version of this recording which didn't go so well. The recording didn't work properly. It was kind of a pain. And of course I have another previous one I've done of Kanaya, which was a lot of fun. These take about an hour to do, so they're not hugely time consuming, which is nice. You can get them done, and some of the nice things include the fact you don't have to come up with a composition which can take ages. You've got something to reference already, and yeah, that's easy to work from. Okay, so we've got two. So this is originally a GIF. Whoa. Windows is not happy. No, piss off, Windows. My computer isn't performing slowly. Right, I'm going to delete this layer and just stick to this one because it's a GIF. So we'll make a new... No, wait, let's not make a new layer. Let's canvas size, percent. Let's do that and bump this to 200, like that. Let's duplicate that and drag it down, like that. Okay, we will lower the opacity of that a bit. Now let's pick the basic background colour. It's probably that, and drop a fill in of this. No, new layer, like that. No, shit, that's the wrong button. And it goes. Okay, put that under there. Let's make a new, let's put that up the top and we'll lock it. Make a new layer up there, just normal. Get the brush tool out. Now the black in this image appears to be black. We're probably going to mostly not work with it as being black. So for purposes of this image, our actual black colour is going to be a dark blue. Which is important, so let me I'm just gonna make a layer as the palette and I'm gonna put it up here. So this, for purposes of this image, this is black, okay? We've got a layer to start drawing on. We're gonna do a bit of drawing because it's useful to know where things are on this image. I've got some glasses on, of course, because it's John. His nose is here. One of the things about a panel redraw is that you will be putting in some details that weren't necessarily in the original image. Okay, so as you can see, he's pulling the hood up. Now we know that there must be a line there. One of the things about hero mode is that certain details are obscured. That said, when you're doing panel redraws, I definitely recommend hero mode over like just the normal sprites, because hero mode, the characters have much closer to realistic proportions. You'll find it's much easier to work with. Okay, got fingers in that. I always think the hands are really nicely drawn in hero mode, considering that the details are so kind of simple. Hussey didn't really need to make the hands look as good as he did. Hussey's a much better artist than a lot of people give him credit for. Okay, so he's got this one's quite an easy one to work with actually, because it's got more detail than you would normally get in an image in Homestuck. There's gonna be a bit of folding going on there, and around here probably. One of the things about a panel retry is you put in a bit more detail. I definitely recommend hero mode for this. But one of the reasons these are so good to work with is because they give you a basic composition to work from that's it's just enough detail to get you started, and then you can kind of add in the details yourself. So it's a good way to set up so that you're not... Yes, that is the fucking ice cream van. If you're not familiar with Let's Read Homestuck and you've never seen the bloopers, you may not know this, but that ice cream van is my ultimate nemesis. And for some reason it's playing Yankee Doodle at the moment. I don't know. Why are you playing Yankee Doodle? We're in the UK. Right, and there's an awesome crater here, which we can render hopefully a bit better than Hussey was able to in this sort of very limited style that he's working with for this image. This is going to be our background, and of course the battleship, which is going to be a key detail in the scene. Like that, and of course it's got to have some eyebrows. People have no idea that ice cream van. It's February. It's February, and he's just cruising around selling ice creams. It's freezing cold outside. Well, not exactly literally freezing, because it's like, I don't know, it's probably about 6 to 8 degrees Celsius, which is relatively warm for February, but it's not exactly ice cream weather. Right. So now what we have is, right, we've got all these weird twisty things up in the sky, but we'll... Whoa, what's that? What have I dragged? What have I dragged? What have you done, Kate? Oh well, it's up there now. It can stay there. I don't know how it got up there, but it's there now. Oh, you have a good laugh. You know, you've got to laugh. The attempt before this, I started painting the whole thing on the wrong layer. I always find with these tutorial videos, like, the artist doing them is so serious, and it's like, what the hell, guys, come on. Okay, so we got our basic lines down, which means we can kind of delete this almost now. Let's just draw it in so we know where the emblem on his chest is going to be, like that. Okay. So, we've got guidelines, which we'll make less visible. We're going to make a new layer to draw on. No, not a new group, just a new layer. Just new layer. Okay. I apologise for the fact that I am terrible at remembering hotkeys. I just use the buttons all the time. That is a sad... it's my confession. Another thing I'm going to do is, as you can see on this, we have a clear light direction. Light is coming from above. That makes our job really easy. I'm going to stick in some arrows so that I know that the light is coming from up there. Awesome, easy job. Now, before I was thinking of making the black as a dark blue, but actually I think I'm going to change my mind on that, and I'm going to make the black, for the purpose of this image, a dark purple. We've got a purple battleship over there. Purple will just warm the image up a bit, so for purposes of this image, black in this image is dark purple. There will be nothing darker than this. That is black. Okay. Okay, so black. This is black. On the Kanaya image I actually did use pure black as black, because it kind of worked with that particular image. It won't always be the case. In most digital paintings, black is not black. If I open the if I open the, this is a prime example, the portrait album art from volume 9 of Homestuck, I did this. If we select what appears to be black, you will notice it's actually a very dark blue. And in fact, I don't think these are black. No, they're like a grey, dark grey purple. So black doesn't need to be black, and I would recommend not having black as black. I know that's a weird thing to get used to, but it will look better. It'll look better than pure black. It's all to do with like relativity of colours and how the human eye sees things and that kind of stuff. So we need to decide on a skin tone for John. John, I always like to think of the Egbert Crocker family as having a nice, like, a warm, dark sort of skin tone. I don't know why, that's just my personal kind of headcanon of that particular family. So this is going to be the base skin tone, and then the highlight's going to be a bit lighter. Sometimes I do the highlight first and then I do the shadows for the skin tone, and sometimes I do it the other way around. In this case I feel easier doing it this way around because this light is coming from above, so it makes more sense to do the hands like this and then to add in the highlight on the top of those fingers. In some cases I would do it differently, and I think most of the face is probably going to be in shadow. More of the face than is in light will probably be in shadow in this case, because he's wearing a hood and the light's coming from above, he's wearing a hood, so a lot of his face is going to be shadowed by this. The other thing about making his skin tone dark in this case is that it's a nice orangey colour. It's going to be a nice contrast to that blue. The blue is going to suffuse this image just as it does the original panel we're working from. This is another reason why doing Homestuck panels is a great way to improve your digital painting, to learn digital painting. It gives you a colour scheme, it gives you a layout, it gives you just an idea, something to work from, because sometimes coming up with an idea for what to paint or draw is the hardest bit, and you can spend ages just agonising over what am I going to draw, what am I going to paint, and it's time that you could be spending practising, honing, making your painting skills better. Now one of the things about this image having these glasses, anime glowing lighting style, is that it's going to speed up the process considerably because I don't need to paint John's eyes. Because painting the eyes will always be like one of the most detailed things you have to paint, and they're not hard to do really necessarily, but so I could decide not to do it like that. I could decide to actually paint his eyes in, and since this is a demonstratory image, I might do that, just so that, because you'll learn more, you the audience. So gonna grab the guide layer, and I'm gonna get that black, and that black in inverted finger quotes, because it's not actually black, it's do some eyes in there for John, like that. Yep, that's as detailed as I really need to do them at this distance. So next thing I'm going to do is size down the brush, and now being a Homestuck character, of course, John has blue, bright blue, like royal blue eyes. One of the things about Homestuck characters is, and one of the reasons I like to think of them as being literally aracial, like maybe they combine traits of a bunch of different races, is like they have these unnatural bright eyes, and also they have no actual origin. Their origin is themselves. They're paradoxically created, meaning that canonically it doesn't make any sense to say they should be a particular race, because they don't actually have a racial origin if you think about it. They're created from themselves. I like to think of them as being like different from regular humans, created like for a specific purpose of creating a new universe. And okay, let's select some of that incredibly bright blue, which should right, put that in there, and we'll select a different blue. I'm just gonna, rather than trying to select a blue in between those two colours, I'm just gonna like that. Okay, now our black is a purplish colour, so our grey should also be purplish. You may be wondering why I'm selecting a grey. It's because don't do the whites of the eyes, don't do them white. Never do them white. They will always, unless the values of your colour scheme is very, very pale and there is a lot of white in your image, it will look creepy. So that's, I mean, even this is looking quite light in with regards to the rest of the scheme, but once we've got the highlight in, it'll look a bit better. Highlight, vitally important, will always make your eyes look better. Okay, now we were going to pick a lighter colour to stick in there, and we'll move it a bit more towards yellow. It'll look good. Okay, a bit bigger than like a 3 or whatever we were working on there. That's, we can stand to go a bit more, that's a bit subdued, needs to be stronger. Okay, yeah, that's more like it. a nice yellow to really stand out against that blue. Don't worry about the lines and it not working with the lines. The lines aren't going to be there the whole time. One of the things about digital painting is that often the best thing you can do is just keep going. Just stopping is often a terrible idea, because it will look bad at first. Like, it's almost inevitable. This looks slightly better than my early attempts at digital painting did. That's maybe a bit too bright, actually. Maybe. Okay, let's just... We can fix it later, doesn't matter. Also, when you haven't got all the values in, it can be hard to judge a thing like this. Sometimes once you've got the other values in, it's just like, oh, right, okay, cool. Makes perfect sense to have something a certain way. For the defining the lips, go a bit darker like this. One of the interesting things about colour is that often when you go towards purple, a colour appears to become darker. That could stand to be darker, actually. Okay. Less pink for that, maybe. Pick a colour like this. Go a bit. Go. And more towards. It's just. Okay. Dark colour. Probably bring in the hair a bit more around the face there. The thing about John is that it's easy to forget that he's like 13 years old and to draw him looking... I mean, in this image, like at this point in the comic, he was like 13 when this happened, this scene. It's easy to forget that and to make him a bit older looking, and a lot of people do depict them looking older than they are because the story content's quite mature and they speak kind of quite maturely compared to how old they actually are. But I think it's important to Homestuck and the plot and the way the characters act that they are 13. I think that is really important to understanding the characters and their actions, the fact that they're 13-year-olds. So, get that black again. Bring it round. Bring it in a bit because we've thinned the face compared to the original image just to make it look better in this kind of style. I'll like muss up his hair a bit. A bit blown around with the wind. Right, so we're going to select this extremely powerful royal blue and start painting that in around this face carefully. But I mean, you can see how quickly you can actually make a good looking digital painting. With practice you can early on it will take ages. Like, I was astonished by how I could spend like an hour just working on a digital painting and it would still look like nothing at all when I started out. But once you get used to it, you start to learn where to put the details to look good, like where you put the details that will get you the nicest looking image the fastest. Still need to fix those eyebrows a bit. Oh well, no need to panic. Just keep going. Keep going. Been playing Lightning Returns lately. It's alright. It's clearly not made with the same kind of attention and budget as the like mainstream FFs, because like, yeah, it's a sequel. I think it's still being made with a bigger budget than Final Fantasy X-2 was, though. But in that game, like, they make you feel like you have to really rush around, and then, like, if you do rush, you end up with loads of extra time that you don't need. And somebody said, oh, as long as you just keep doing things, there's no way you can really feasibly get a game over. At least not from time. Like a time game over, like, no wait, because it would be any game over would be from time, because if you lose a battle you use escape, which uses up an hour, but as long as you don't do that loads and loads and loads, then yeah, it's not really an issue. But it's the same with digital painting is what I'm trying to say. Lightning Returns and the zen of digital painting. So long as you keep going, you'll get something eventually, so don't stress out about it, just keep painting and you'll get something nice in the end. Even if it takes you a while, you'll get something nice, so just enjoy it. Just, you've got... It's a bit like in Metal Gear, actually, when Mei Ling tells Snake that he should be happy because, or rather tells the player, really, that they should be happy because they've got time to be playing a game. Don't stress about it. If you have the time to paint, then that's a good day. It's a nice day. I mean, I've got the fucking ice cream van and I've got people in the park doing the hedges by the sounds of it, and it's kind of annoying. But at the same time, I've got painting to do, and that's fun. And I'm just gonna... Whoa! That went in an interesting direction. I'm just gonna do this because my panel was in the way there. There we go. You can actually see what I'm doing now. Love that long windsock hood, it's so cool. And this is the colour of this. I don't often draw John. Like, he's not a character I've really drawn a lot. I don't often draw the male characters, I guess. I tend to be more interested in like Vriska and Terzi and Kanaya, Roxy and Rose, those kinds of people. But I like John as a character. I think as a protagonist he's fun and he feels quite kind of believable. I really like how the characters in Homestuck, they develop as characters, but it doesn't necessarily just mean that they get better all the time. Like a lot of like writers, they think that character development means writing out all the characters' flaws over time, like they develop past their flaws. That just makes them boring, and real people don't develop like that. Whereas the characters in Homestuck, they don't necessarily just become better people and then they're in stasis for the rest of time. They develop new flaws, they develop like people, and it's frustrating. Like, they don't get over their problems and then that's it forever. They develop new problems, and or their problems evolve, and like they change as people, and that's why I love Homestuck. I like the writing in Homestuck, and it's frustrating when people say that it's for teenagers, because I really think of it as being written for adults, actually. Like all of the references to stuff when I was a kid in movies John likes. It's kind of bizarre that John likes movies that were like movies for people his age that came out when I was his age, and yet people are like, "Oh no, it's totally for teenagers." It's like, yeah, no, it's about teenagers. It's not necessarily for teenagers. Okay, this is starting to look pretty good actually, and let's see. Yep, can't forget the windy symbol. It needs to be a bit smaller than that. I only just got Photoshop CS5. I've been working on CS2 for ages and ages, like years and years and years. So this is, I'm not used to working on it just yet, so apologies for that. The brushes are a lot tighter, like a lot crisper. I think if I had the, when I've got the money, I'd like to get a subscription to the Creative Cloud thing, but it's expensive, God. Okay, like that for now. Right, so getting towards the stage where we'll have to get rid of the background stuff, but not just yet. Okay, so we got streaks coming from up here in lighter colours, so I'm gonna select those, get a nice big brush, and like that. Okay. Right, so we've got a cloud. This cloud's the wrong way up. The shadow is on top, even though the light appears to be coming from on top. That doesn't... I've got to do the cloud the right way up. He's done it wrong. He's done it wrong. Okay. One of the reasons digital painting is so popular for concept art is that you can really quickly get detail, like you can hint at details very efficiently. So it's used for concept artwork often, for particularly like environmental reference and tone reference. Character art, it's not so bad to use like normal kind of drawing, and in fact I tend to more often use line art drawing for my character concept work, because I'm just faster with it, you know. For like just like character concepts, I can whip them up very quickly when just drawing normally. But for environmental concept, it's fantastic to do digital painting. It's a good skill to learn. It can be really useful. I use it a lot when I'm painting up the character like the diffuse map, or like the texture as you might know it, for character models in like 3D models and things. So digital painting is definitely worth learning, especially if you want to go into games. I would strongly recommend it. And it needn't be scary to learn. It can be good fun, actually. Alright, now the hills in that look rather dull, and we can make them look a bit nicer by adding a bit of blue to them. So make the hills a bit more alive. And we're also going to sort out that brown, because it is hella ugly, that brown colour that Hussey has used. One of the things about Homestuck that sometimes works fantastically and sometimes doesn't work so well is that Hussey tends to use quite kind of literal colours. Like, trees are always brown, and dirt is always brown, and grass is always green, and like it doesn't always look that great. Sometimes it can look really kind of striking and just work, but not always. I think if you're doing like a digital painting, it doesn't tend to look so great to use literal colours for things. Like, you have to think about how the eye perceives colour, what the ambient colours are, what's nearby, and work from that. This image was being a fair bit being fairly literal with the colours, but like that doesn't always work. Okay, let's try a green and see how that looks. No, let's make the dirt purple. I know that sounds bonkers, but it'll probably look right. Yep, look, that looks brown, right? It looks brown, but it's purple. And this is a trick. It's a trick of the eyes. It's surprising how it can work, but your eyes don't perceive colours as they truly are. They perceive colours next to each other. I always remember as a teenager doing the GCSEs, which are like your standard final, like your main exams for secondary school in the UK, like kind of, I guess, the American equivalent, so like your SATs, I don't know. But anyway, we did GCSEs, and we did them in this horrible sports hall, and it was it had this, it was a PE hall for doing like your PE, and the lighting in there was yellow. The lights in that hall were yellow, and because of that, when you came out of that hall, everything looked purple. Just everything looked purple outside, and it was a really bewildering effect. When you see stuff like that, you start to really understand how the eye can trick you into thinking you're seeing things of a certain colour when they're actually not. Let's do this ship. It's a bit garish in the original image, so I might not do it quite as colourful as he did. Just, I assume that Hussey probably traced this over an actual battleship, like a photo of one. He's quite good at doing that kind of thing. Like, okay, just right. Missed a bit on here. Okay. Just. Well, that battleship's a really long way away. I'd never really noticed that while reading the comic, but it kind of is. Right, let's work with this. So. Let's get this background in quickly. Some extra. Oops, I forgot the cloud was there. Sorry, cloud. Okay. Let's just try to fix that a bit. Okay. Right, now at this stage we're probably getting close to the point where we'll have to remove our guidelines. Guidelines have served us well, but we can't stick with them forever. Okay. Let's look at that. This. Yep. It's good. Good. Whoa, we're just about down to our black. There it is. That's the bottom of the big well that a big crater that John made. Okay. Now we know that there are checks on the floor in this place. That's going to be an interesting challenge. So we've got this as our. I'm going to use a blue colour for the darker squares to I'm not going to reference the exact chessboard pattern of the original image because I can't be arsed. Sometimes life is too short. That need them to get... Oh. Let's just try to keep things getting smaller as they go further away. And right, now we get the fun bit of filling in these squares. But you have to be careful with it, but it's really boring. Yep, this is fun, alright. Filling in all these goddamn squares. Fucking pain in the ass. Somebody's gotta fill in all these goddamn squares. If I was doing this for like a serious piece, I'd probably be a bit more careful here, but like, this is just for fun, you know? The background's taking a lot longer than most of the backgrounds on these things I've done, so I'm hoping it doesn't take up too much time. Still, it's fun to just sit and paint. Just paint things in. And this is my kind of first video about painting, I guess. Like, normally, I've done Let's Plays videos, I've done, like, I've got a Vacant Sky one about, like, character design, but it's nice to make one of something different. Painting video. Like that American guy with the beard who does the... he's dead, isn't he? But he did the painting and he seemed kind of cool. I can't remember what his name was. We had like similar people though. Like when I was a kid I used to watch Rolf Harris because he did like... I don't know if he was ever a big thing in the US. He was a big thing in Australia and the UK, I think. And like he had the famous catchphrase, "Can you figure what it is yet?" And he'd be like drawing away and like it wouldn't be necessarily obvious what he was drawing a picture of until he got to the end, because like he didn't use guidelines or anything, he just kind of started scribbling away. And sometimes that's a good way to approach digital painting. It doesn't necessarily always look like what it's meant to be when you're in the middle of painting it, or especially not when you start. But again, that's a nice advantage of working like this from an existing image as a basis, because you will know what it is when you start out. It'll look like something much faster, which is a bit less disheartening to work with than... Okay, let's remove that. Okay, so that's our image so far. So now we start like tidying things up a bit, adding a bit more detail, that kind of thing. Let's jump back onto the John layer. Where's the John layer? John layer, there you are. That's not the right colour. Where's it? Where's it on that then? It's better. Right. Sometimes I do everything on like one layer with digital painting, but when the background's detailed like this, it's not worth the trouble you'd cause yourself. Right, so we're going to use this as the base colour and shadow. So, shadow, desaturate, move towards purple. Yep. a nice colour. Okay. That's maybe a bit too desaturated and close to purple. Can be quite hard to pitch sometimes. Okay. Okay. That's more like it. Paint in some shadows. You know, I'm not sure if it's working with that hood being as big as it is on the original image. I might just size it down a bit. Oh, I went overboard that. Right. A bit better. In a bit. I'm not sure if that's actually dark enough. Let's now one thing you can do when you have a problem like this is to go image, adjustments, where is it? Replace colour. Where's replace colour? There, right, okay. Let's turn down the fuzziness so that we just get this colour, and we can, yeah, there we go, we've bumped down the lightness a bit, and maybe the saturation, no, okay, that's better. We've got a nicer colour there that looks more, oops, of course you have to remember when you've done that to then select this new colour and work with that instead. Okay. Okay. So maybe just darken that whole thing up. Oh, maybe not. I don't want it too small, or it'll look like Kenny from South Park. Let's keep that. Okay. And of course, need to start neatening up the face, which is of course the part that people will pay the most attention to in your image, so put more attention into the face than other parts of the character. Of course, a lot of people take advantage of that to make up for lacking anatomical drawing skills, because people pay more attention to the face. So if they draw a nice face, people often won't notice if they don't have very good basic drawing of anatomy and things. Oh, that was weird. Oh yeah, it's the patch tool. Oh well, it worked in my favour that time, because I was trying to fill a patch anyway. So. Try to balance out John's eyebrows a bit. Just add some little details in there that just bring the image to life. he's got that little, just that little smile in the original image, and we can just help bring that out to kind of make it pop. So get that. So careful. Since this is like a version of Photoshop I haven't used a lot, I haven't really set up my tools all as I like to have them, which is why I'm kind of going a bit all over the place at times. Now, this is something you can do, is flip the canvas, and then we start to see mistakes we've made. I think those eyes are slightly wonky. Let's try to fix them a bit. One of the things about flipping, people don't always understand flipping and how it works, but basically as you draw, your eyes become used to what you're seeing, and it causes that to look normal, even if it's incorrect. It's rather like the scenario I described with doing your exam in a room with yellow light and then everything looks purple when you go outside, because yellow has become normal for you. Yellow has become white, and in this case, like, wonky has become true in a weird way. Like, you are seeing the wonky world, you're seeing it as if that's the real world. I might just make that black because it's this hood's kind of hard to work with because Hussey didn't draw it that well in the first place, really. Those eyes are still wonky. That's really hard to fix. Right. In cases like this, we can fix it by doing this. Grab one, copy, paste, drag it over, flip horizontal, just see. Yeah, that looks better. And then we merge that down and we touch up the surrounding area. The perfect crime. Ha ha ha. No one will ever know except the people who watched this video. But yeah, there's no shame in doing that. Sometimes you have to fix the image, make it look right. You know, it happens. Just something that can happen. And get the reflection on the glasses going. Let's fix that. Image, I'll do the image rotation. Yeah, that's looking a bit better. Not great, I'm still not very used to drawing John. In fact, this is kind of a weird image in that John's overbite isn't visible. I was thinking, why does it look different from when I normally draw John? It's like, oh, there's no overbite. Have his hair stick out of the hood a little bit. It looks nice. Whoa, that's too dark. I'll keep that there. Now, that colour I was using to shade the skin. Let's some of that around here. And that. Like that. Like so. Okay. And let's pick colour of this. Desaturate, nudge it towards purple. And yeah, that works. So that's something like that. And in the trousers, and this. Sorry, I kind of stopped talking there. I was concentrating on the drawing. Okay. Oh, that doesn't work. Ah! Okay. Really, the background needs a bit of attention, but we're probably getting towards the end of, like, the time limit that I set myself. I haven't actually been paying attention to exactly how long I've been going, so yeah, this one probably took a bit longer than the others. But I think a lot of the time these digital painting things, they like put everything on super speed, and it's hard to tell how they're actually doing things. It's like, wait, stop, whoa, how did you do that? What was that? I didn't see that. What was it? So I think I wanted to do a video that was at actual speed instead of just like showing off, and like something that people could actually use, and that like clearly it's an outcome that somebody could hope for something similar in a similar kind of time frame. Perhaps may take you a bit longer if you haven't painted a lot in the past, or like partially depending on how complex the image you decide to go for is. Obviously in this case I haven't gone for full detail because like the background's quite detailed on this one compared to things like the Kanaya image I did and the Roxy one, but I thought it was a cool looking image to work with. I'm gonna put some white on here just to make that pop. I mean, I could spend more time, but there goes my phone. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And now I'm back, I just noticed something. Now, one of the reasons you should occasionally take a break and come back to an image is you will notice things. Let's do that. Like, I noticed that I could add some highlights to that hair, make it nice and shiny, stand out. There we go. Yeah, and I'm gonna call that done. It's not as good as some of the, I don't feel like it's done yet. I feel like it would look a bit better if I added a bit of extra highlight of that. Sometimes these things only become apparent when you zoom out. Sorry. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna call this one. I'm gonna say it's done. I mean, there's more that could have been done on it, but it looks pretty decent for what it is, as a panel repaint, and just get rid of the blob. There we go. Yeah, looks alright, and I hope you consider maybe trying this at home in your own time, giving digital painting a go, do your own Homestuck panel repaints, and hope that this helped you see sort of some ideas of how to do it. So maybe join me another time for more painting videos, maybe not, whatever.